Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Gabe Morgan. That's Gabemorgan. I'm the Sheriff of Newport News. And I'm here to make a couple statements and to clarify a couple things and then also to take a few questions. First, let me reassure the public that, one, there was no incident in which inmates posed a danger to the community, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. I want to make that perfectly clear. Number two, Peter made a statement in his comment that we wouldn't provide anyone to clarify information. I do not respond to unreasonable, timely requests. I will give the information, and those of you who have dealt with me know that I will give you that information when appropriate. So a quick turnaround, I need somebody by this time, doesn't always work in this facility. And then number three, I want to thank the brave men and women who perform this job every single day. So many of you have heard the story about inmates were out of their cell and they walked out of their cell. That information was gleaned from court records that we preferred charges on a total of 7 inmates. I will tell you right now that we hold everyone accountable. The safety and security of this facility is our paramount duty. What I'm showing you right here, and I tried to make it as tight as possible not to have any security compromises. This is, you're standing outside on a catwalk looking in. These are cells. This is another restraint, bars. These are the individual cell, 2-men bunked. This is a day area where they come out, interact. And then this is another bar and a catwalk area for security staff to be able, and medical staff to be able to go back and forth. This is another view. This is a secure door to a hallway. This is looking from that door back the other way. As you can see, there's 7 cells. This is a contained area. I want you to take a look at these. There are no locks. No physical locks on those. They're mechanical locks. Okay? They operate electrically and or by gang. We'll get there. This just gives you a quick view of the top of that lock to the individual inside. Another view so that you get a better view of the lock itself, the door. There's no locks. They're mechanically operated. This is on the catwalk. This is outside that cell area. And you're looking from another secure door down that hall. This is from outside the hallway. You got 2 also secure doors with locks. Okay. Why did I show you that? I showed you those pictures because the reporting about this did not portray what was going on. They forced the individual cell door open, right?
Can you go behind the microphone, please?
I can try, but I can't promise you I'm gonna stay there. I'm one of those that's moving. I'm interactive. Okay? I will, they pried that door open, forced it open. One guy, the first one, and then he got out and he helped pry the others open. Why did this happen? This happened because we did a cell search. And we do cell searches, and we do this to attempt to keep the facility safe from harm for the people who work there and the people that are held there. This is an example of some of the weapons that was taken out of that cell block prior to this incident. Okay? They take anything and turn it into a weapon. The folks, kill that. The folks in the that work in this facility have to deal with this every day. They went in, they did what they needed to do, and these individuals were locked down. They forced their way out of their individual cell. Okay? They flooded the cell, they threw things out, and they commenced to try to be disorderly. And basically what we would call inciting a riot. With the weapons, and I'll show you another board back there with other weapons. You can't send one deputy into that type of situation when you have 7 to 14 people that are out and dangerous. They were still contained. They assembled a team, they responded. Restored order. They did their jobs. They did their jobs. And we're here today, and this is why there's so much distrust sometimes for the media. Rather than waiting to get the full story, we're rushing to get a story out. And that story may not tell the whole story. And those of you who've worked with me know that I call balls and strikes. If we get it wrong, I'm going to tell you we got it wrong. If I get it right, I'm going to tell you we get it right. And I stand by the people that perform this job every single day. And the only time they ever get any publicity is when someone perceives something went wrong. That board behind you is an example of what we take out of this facility. And unlike our brethren that's on the street that deal with these individuals for about an hour, these folks live with them for 12 to 14 hours a day. Put it all on the line. Last year, 63 of them were injured. Line of duty. You don't hear about that. If someone commits suicide, you hear about the suicide. But come to our award ceremony and see how many of them get life-saving award for saving people. When it's all said and done, we're doing the best we can. with the facility that we have to operate. This facility was designed in the 60s and built in the early 70s, 71, 72. What this facility was built for no longer exists today. But we make it work. And we keep the public safe. So, did they attempt to escape? Yes. And if you read the code of Virginia, they manipulated the lock of that individual cell, which is a chargeable offense, and they were charged. Was the public ever in danger? Never. Did the deputies, the brave deputies, that do this every day without a sidearm, without all the other tools that every other law enforcement have when they're on the street. I'll take any questions you may have at this time. Yes, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Emily.
Emily.
Emily Harrison with 13.
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly, you said it was pried open and you've gone over the weapons. What, do we know what it was pried open with?
I don't want to get into the details of what it was pried open with because I don't want copycats. Okay? But yes, we do. We have it on video. We have the whole thing on video. That's why we can tell you who did what, when.
And so just from my understanding of it, is that this person, was it Mr.
It was Blue.
Okay, so.
I'm telling you right now, it was him. Yes.
So Mr. Blue somehow had an object that he created.
He was able to manipulate his. Now, I want to answer you.
I understand what you got something to protect.
The best way for me to say was, in his case, he manipulated the system.
Okay. But so he manipulated it, he got himself
He
out,
got
and
himself
then he
out.
went to the others and did the same thing.
Well, he did something similar, or helped pry. He didn't actually do the same thing he did.
And then once all of them were out, they were contained in the day area.
Correct.
Showed, but
Correct.
they did not escape beyond the day area.
Correct.
Got it. And when did this occur and what time did
This
it
was
occur?
the 2nd of July, approximately 1 o'clock. It started right around 1:02 was the last time that the lieutenant had a conversation with him.
Okay. When were jail staffers aware that something was happening?
1:04.
How long were those inmates outside of their cells until deputies noticed them?
Total time 6 minutes. No, 4 minutes. When they first were noticed. Total time 6 minutes.
Did they attempt to get out of the building?
No. They didn't even attempt to get out of the day room area.
After this incident, are you all going to, I guess, have new mechanical locks or upgrade your locks?
There is currently a CIP initiative to try to relock or rekey most of the locks in the facility because again, it's old.
Did any of the staffers suffer any injuries
No.
during any of this? And you have chosen, or I say chosen, but these individuals are obviously charged with it. If they're convicted, what would be the sentence, I guess?
So I
Or
would,
I'm
hope
getting too
that,
far.
I would hope that they would get 5 years maximum time because I want to send a strong message. 1, we don't hold people accountable. 2, not here. We're not doing it.
And this is truly not me picking on you.
It's fine. No, please. That's why I'm doing this, so that everybody gets the same information, right? And they hear it from me, from the horse's mouth.
Completely understand. So if I could just bring you back like 2 years ago,
Yep.
there were 2 inmates who
Right.
somehow made I don't even know what to call it, a hole in the wall with a spoon, and they took themselves to IHOP for breakfast.
Yep.
At the time when that was reported and done, it was due to a construction error or something. But is this latest incident falling under a construction
No.
error as well? Or?
No, ma'am. 2 different buildings, right? And to respond to that, we have taken extraordinary measures to ensure that construction weakness can't be exploited.
Okay, so we every
Yeah.
single time, I don't want to say every single time, but when this happens, we learn, we adapt. we do
Absolutely.
something.
Absolutely. And listen, I told you, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when we get it wrong, when we get it right. Okay? In that particular incident, right? We learned a lot. We learned a lot. And we went back, and we're still actually doing some improvements to ensure security. You know, there were windows that we are now covering over, and ensuring that we minimize those things. Because when you look at a building, you see a building, right? And you may not understand how certain things, like if you got a cinder block building and it's not reinforced with rebar or anything like that, how you can end up going through that facility, right? Yes.
Have these same men tried to escape before?
No. But let me say this to you. If all you do is look at charges that we take out, if someone manipulates a lock or tries to manipulate a lock, they're going to get charged. Because we're not playing. Right? So if all you're doing is looking at that, you may see, oh, someone tried to escape. Oh, someone tried to escape. Right? Because what we do is, if you do it, we're going to charge you. You're going to get more time. Because we're not going to tolerate it.
Sure, well, just for clarification, these objects back here, is that what these men attempted?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's just an example of some of what we're dealing with. What you saw up there came out of their cell.
And just because
Hold on. Let me make sure if anybody else, I don't want you.
Dominic.
Yeah, yes.
I'm Rob with Wavy TV 10.
Rob, hi.
My question is, are you going to release the video of the event?
No. Not until after maybe the trial.
Okay. For those people who are not familiar with this, what happened in the jail, can you explain perhaps the video? Can you explain what we could have seen?
You'll see someone gerrymandering, if you will, that gate that slides back and forth, right? You'll see that person successfully getting that gate open, they squeeze out, then they go to the next one, and between the two, person on the inside, they're working that gate, trying to force it. That's what you'll see. And then you'll see that happen over and over.
So then how many people got out of their cell, and then what did they do?
It was a total of 7.
7 got out of the cell, and what did they do?
They filled blue baskets with water, they threw water out, they threw food out, they just commenced to making a mess, turn on the waters, trying to flood the place.
Then the deputies,
The deputies were amassing to respond, yes.
and then what did the deputies do?
You set someone up and someone talked them down. They were then taken out one at a time and processed.
Nobody was hurt on either side.
Nobody was hurt.
Was there any indication that this was like a planned event?
Last question for you, because I'm going to somebody else.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
Was there any indication that this was planned? Were they all working together to?
They all work together. That's obvious. Okay. To answer your question, a lot of things that happen in a correctional facility is spontaneous, and you got to pay attention to the crews. They were upset because they were on lockdown because of failing to comply with rules and regulations, and they decided they were going to revolt because of lockdown. Okay.
But they knew they weren't going to get out.
That doesn't mean anything to some of these folks. If you look at some of the charges, let me tell you something, folks. When I first became sheriff 20 years ago, we had over 750 inmates. We had people for the simplest of things locked up. Today, the people we have locked up are the folks you don't want out there in the community. Okay? Many of them have nothing to lose. And they demonstrate that every day. This is the toughest beat in the city.
Sheriff, what was the reason that they were on lockdown to begin with? And how long?
For not following rules and regulations.
For anything in particular?
It was within 24 hours, I'm just saying, for not following rules and regulations.
And how long were they on lockdown for?
It was 24 hours when they were placed on lockdown. Okay.
24 hours, like if this
Prior
happened-
to the event,
Okay,
right, they were placed on lockdown within the 24-hour period. Okay?
you say within, but I'm trying to get a time frame as to how
Peter?
many hours.
Peter, within 24 hours, they were placed on lockdown within a 24-hour period before this event occurred. That's my statement. Anyone else?
Will you all be increasing deputies within that area where the
I wish I could.
situation
I got 50 open. Anybody want to come and join us?
I'm not raising my hand.
So what I'm trying to say to you is, as you can see, and I can't give you the full security of the facility because we were compromised. But those two doors that you saw going out, then there are other layers. Okay? We have multiple layers of security. Right? So they will always be contained to a small area. Even when they go out to wreck, only one part at a time will go out to wreck. So we minimize the number of people that are ever together. Okay? Does that answer?
Thank you.
Yes. 1 minute. Y'all good? All right. We'll come back here, then I'm going to come to you, Peter.
Promise I'm winding down.
That's okay. That's why we're doing this.
These 7 individuals now,
Yes.
have they all been kind of separated from each other, or are they living on that same cell block together?
They're separate.
They are separated. All right, and then if we can go back to, I mean, this was built in the 60s, this building. So can you talk a little bit more about, are you looking for more resources? I know
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
looking for more people, but talk
I'm
about
looking
this
for,
building.
yeah, right now, the city's going through a master plan for a court complex, and they should be voting, not next week, the week after, about including in the jail in that master plan complex.
Is that something you're in favor of?
Absolutely, and I've been advocating for that for years. Yes, Pete.
So when they
I'm
plan,
gonna come back to you after. I got you. Tony, Rob, right? All right.
do you think they had a plan to try to
No.
leave the jail?
They know they can't go anywhere. Their building is 7 stories high. There are no windows, right? There are, when I tell you multiple layers, even if they got out that day area, they couldn't get off that floor.
And they
Okay.
knew that. You don't think they were planning to
No,
go beyond?
no. Folks, listen, let me explain something. We used to have the saying back in the day, bad to the bone. Some folks are just bad to the bone, and they're gonna do it just because they can. They're gonna make a mistake, right? They knew they couldn't go anywhere. And because of an employee with good relation and good ability to talk people down, she was able to talk them down.
So one female employee went in?
No, didn't go in, stood on the catwalk on the other side and engaged them. This is what I'm talking about. These folks, this is what they do every day. This wasn't a news event, Peter. This was an everyday occurrence. This is what these folks do every day. We deal with this every day.
Has something up to this degree happened
Yes.
regular? Okay.
Yes. Let me tell you something. You open a door to give someone food, and you may get assaulted. This is a tough job. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. And the only time these folks get their flowers is when we have a reward and recognition ceremony. And I would invite all of y'all to be there, right? And report on some of the good work they do that don't get recognized.
Sheriff Morgan, if this seems like this is an everyday occurrence for you all, what made you just want to speak out today to address this issue?
I owe it to the people that work and do this job every day to defend what they do. And when we rush to put a story out and don't have all the facts, it makes it look like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I'm the elected official. I expect you guys to come at me with a tough question, right? Kelsey, I expect you to hold me accountable. And Pete, I expect you to call me names. But my folks that come here every day and do this job deserves our support. Because I guarantee you, none of them would want to change places this way.
That was my question.
Okay.
You seem to be scared about this.
Oh,
I'm worked up about it.
let me tell you, I am. You know why? Nobody advocates for inmates except maybe their family. And no matter how nefarious the act that brought them to us, constitutionally we have a requirement to safeguard them and take care of them. The people that work here, they get no facts or very little facts. And if not for me saying thank you, if not for me going to war to get them the resources they need, then they're left in the shadows. And yeah, I'm spirited about it. And I'm worked up about it. And when the narrative is not right, I'm going to speak to it. Other than that, we're going to do our job without looking for fanfare, without looking for folks to say, oh, look what they're doing, da 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 da. We do it every day. And they come back every day. I get folks injured. And they want to get back to work because their team is short. And they know everybody counts. That's why I'm spirited, because I see what they do every day.
We only have final two left. This is more just a point.
You said
I
two?
promise. Final two. This is
Okay.
just a point of, I went over to the courthouse and I picked up the weapons charge with Mr. Blue on this, and it was filed on the 7th. This happened on the 2nd, you said. So
He
this,
had, because he had a weapon during the cell search. Right.
so yeah, so the weapon was already in his
Mhm.
room when this all happened,
Mhm.
correct? Okay, got it. And then I get what you're saying about these men and women are not celebrated enough. My only, and this is not me coming at you. It's
Come
just that,
on!
no, I'm not. I'm scared to. Mine is just everybody's human at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, human mistakes can happen in any role and any position that you're in.
Absolutely.
Was there any human mistake made on behalf of the jail staff, or do you stand by them 100% with everything that was made at
I stand by them 100%, and here's why. I had a lieutenant on that floor, the shift commander, who actually took out the charge. They don't come out their cells to go to a guidance facility. Trays are brought to them. They were on lockdown. So every one of those individual 7 cells that you saw had to be opened, right? Individually. The trays were given to them. The door was closed, and every time the door is closed, it's checked. Okay? So every single one of those was open, closed, and secure prior to this, probably 10 minutes prior to this incident.
And you guys have additional security now. What have you learned from this, or is there anything to learn?
What we know all the time, we don't take anything for granted. Keep your head on a swivel. And follow procedures. When we deviate from that, then we start to have problems. Let's do it.
Just on the time frame, you had said 4 minutes. It was 4 minutes from the time that, I guess, Blue opened the door
Mhm.
until he was noticed.
Yeah.
So you would give it a time of 1:02, but the court record says 1:06. So is it 4 minutes? Was it 1:10 when they noticed it about?
Pete, I'm gonna try to remain
Just trying to
calm.
get the time.
No. I'm not trying to get the time right. I'm gonna try to remain calm because what you're trying to do is dice and slice. Okay?
I understand the time frame.
102 is when the lieutenant last saw them.
So the last tray, and then she shut the door.
At 104,
Okay.
okay? To 106, and there's a different, and every clock has a slight difference, okay? The bottom line is, from 106, right, to about, and I'm going off the top of my head, I go back to my notes, maybe 112, 114 is when all this took place.
Right.
They were observed the minute they started coming out of the cell. They went and started to assemble a team to go back because they thought they would have to go hands-on to get them back in point of control.
So right at 1:06, they were being seen on camera. They were being observed live while this was happening.
Yes.
Okay.
And someone was standing there. Okay? There was a deputy that saw them.
Okay, so it wasn't just seen on camera. They were
Right.
actually seen.
I thought I made that clear. But again, here we go. We're trying to get down to 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes.
I just need to know what it is so we can have the facts to put it in the paper.
You went without facts before.
Like what?
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a clarification question. The photo you showed on the screen of it was like 4 weapons on a red background. Those weapons, were those just general examples of weapons? Or were
No, those
taken-
came out of that cell phone.
Okay, thank you.
Anything that you would say to people who were alarmed to hear that some people attempted to break out of jail? Anything that you would say to the public on this?
The way it was characterized is not what it could be. Yes, technically, it was a technical, what we call constructive attempted break. Was there a physical break? I mean, when you think jailbreak, walk out of the cell, no. Anyone else? I thank you. And listen, anytime you want to come, right, and work a shift with a deputy, we can arrange it. We can arrange it. But you gotta sign a release. Okay? All right. Thank you all.
Yeah.